I've been trying to find the perfect pair of earbuds for me. It's a quest I've embarked on, and it's been quite a perilous journey. So, these next 3 videos are going to be about wireless earbuds that I've tried in hopes that they meet my very specific criteria. So why the sudden focus on earbuds? As many audiophiles know, wired IEMs as a whole just sound better. But wireless earbuds have gotten really good recently, and I like how convenient they are. I have a whole video talking about how goddamn good the Moondrop Space Travel sound for their price. But I have issues with the Moondrop Space Travel, which led me ultimately to search for a new pair. Another reason I'm interested in earbuds is there's a phenomenon that started happening to me recently called people are talking to me. It's really strange, and I don't understand why this phenomenon occurs, as I try not to be seen when out in public, hence the whole, vtuber thing. Here's what happens. I'll want to use my wired in-ear monitors, right? And as soon as I put them in and start jamming out, every single human being within a 20-mile radius will want to talk to me, and then they get mad at me for having my IEMs in. I've accepted that this is just my life now. But with earbuds such as the Apple AirPods and earbuds that have a similar fit, I can hear when people are talking to me so long as I'm not using the active noise canceling. So here's the criteria that I'm looking for. 1, a fitment that allows me to hear when people talk to me and is comfortable. 2, a case that doesn't suck. 3, an app that doesn't suck. And 4 is they sound good. First up, we have these. The Anker Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pro. I fucking hate how long this name is. The Anker Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pro, not to be confused with the Soundcore Liberty 2, the Soundcore Liberty Air 2, the Soundcore Liberty 2 Pro, and the Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pro 2 HD Remix featuring Dante from Devil May Cry. I'm sure many of you have heard of Soundcore. It seems like every tech YouTuber and their mom has recommended them at some point, many to the point of being straight up shills, which has me skeptical of the brand as a whole. But I'm gonna try and keep an open mind with these. Linus, if these suck, I'm gonna be under your bed tonight. Just saying. In Minecraft. A lot of people really like their earbuds, and there's a lot of hype surrounding them. They're advertising themselves as the more affordable alternatives to mainstream options like AirPods, Galaxy Buds, Sony XM5s, etc., but with the same quality of sound. These go for about $115 brand new on Amazon at the time of making this recording. But I have seen listings go for much cheaper for both refurbished and new pairs, so keep that in mind. So how do they stack up against a more mainstream option like Samsung's Galaxy Buds 2s? Well, let's find out. Build quality and features. So, first things first, is the case of the Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pro any good? Not really. It failed one of my requirements, which means it's already disqualified, so that's the end of the video. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, so it's not terrible. It is much better than the Moondrop Space Travel's case, but I mean, that's not a high bar to clear. So it does open and close. Good. Plus, the way the lid slides up and down is super satisfying to fidget with. And it's free of any sharp edges. It's also really tanky. But the case is a total chunker, and it still doesn't fit comfortably in my pocket. It's just too chunky. Also, it's covered in this rubberized coating that I don't really like, and this thing is just a filth and fingerprint magnet. Any dust that's in your pocket is gonna stick right to it. Plus, this kind of rubberized coating typically doesn't stay rubberized for very long. It's likely that this coating at some point is going to turn back into goop, but hopefully not before the battery gives out. I'll be honest, this case kinda reminds me of a hockey puck for some reason, and I kinda just wanna whack it with a stick as hard as I can. Here it is side by side with the Samsung Galaxy Buds case. Yeah, it's a total chonkster, but here's some features that I do like about it. It's got in-ear detection, so it automatically will pause your music when you take the earbuds out. IPX4 water resistance, so it will be okay if it gets splashed with a little bit of water, and it's resistant to sweat, so people who work out are definitely gonna like that. 7 hours of playtime with ANC turned off, with a total of 26 hours of charge in the case. With ANC turned on, playtime dips to about 4.5 hours. ANC on these is actually pretty good. Not quite on the level of stuff like AirPods and Bose earbuds, but still, most people would be pretty happy with it. To give you an idea, if I had to give them letter grades, AirPods and Bose earbuds would be like an A+ with their noise canceling, and the Soundcore's is a solid B. It's definitely effective at neutralizing the sounds of engines and voices in crowded spaces, but higher frequencies can still get through. Transparency mode, that works actually very well. Adjustable EQ with various EQ presets, and it also utilizes the LDAC codec on devices that support it. How's the microphone on it? Well, let's find out.
Oh, hey, Hey, by the way, I'd appreciate it if you guys liked and subscribed. And also, did you know I have a Twitch? Damn, that's crazy. Look at this dude.
Okay, so how's the app? I'll be honest, the bar for a smartphone app was pretty low for me given my terrible experience with the Moondrop Link app. If the app simply works as intended, already that's a good mark in my book. So, when I first started the app, Soundcore was really adamant that I make an account with them. So for the first few minutes of using the app, I was bombarded with pop-ups asking me to make an account, and it was super annoying. No, Soundcore, I'm not doing it. I'm not making an account. Eventually, I got past that, and then I could use the app without interruption. This app is simple to navigate and allows you to easily access the device's features. I do really like this layout. Okay, so let's talk about the EQ. You have an 8-band EQ for custom EQ profiles, plus several presets in addition to personalized sound. The personalized sound feature is pretty neat, but I don't think it works quite as well as intended, but the idea behind it is really interesting. Basically, the app will give you a little hearing test, and then depending on your results, it creates a sound profile that is specific to you. I tried it, and while I did prefer the sound profile it created for me over the default tuning of these earbuds, I still prefer to do the EQ myself. I just wasn't personally a fan of the sound profile it made for me. Again, I think it's a really cool idea, but results will vary. Also, one other note about the ANC, you can actually adjust the level of noise canceling with the use of this little circle graphic here, but I actually don't like the way it's presented. I can hear it making adjustments to the noise cancellation, but the fact that it's a circle makes it hard to gauge exactly what your level is at. I wish they'd have made this slider instead, but still, being able to choose how much noise canceling you want is pretty nice. Controls. Yep, they got touch controls, and I think they're a little too sensitive. In general, I don't like touch controls, but pretty much like all earbuds have touch controls on them nowadays, so I've just accepted the reality that this is an issue that I will have to deal with in the future. I've slowly learned to tolerate touch controls as an unavoidable part of reality, kind of like Chris Pratt. I can't stand him, but he's literally everywhere and likely not going away anytime soon. But yeah, these touch controls have the same issue that I have with a lot of touch controls. Because they're sensitive and in an awkward spot on the upper part of the stem, it's easy to accidentally pause your music and turn off the ANC, and I find this super annoying. I know a lot of people don't mind this at all, and good for those people. Yes, you can get used to it, but just because you can get used to something doesn't mean you have to like it. Like how I eventually got used to Chris Pratt voicing Mario in the Mario Brothers movie, but like, I still didn't like it. Comforts. Okay, I'm gonna keep the comfort portion of this review pretty short. I actually find these really comfortable. Again, they have a similar fit to stuff like AirPods and the Moondrop Space Travel. This kind of design that has these stems and a shallow fit that's not intrusive is something I'm a big fan of. I really like earbuds that have this style of fit because I just hardly notice that they're there. The less intrusive of a fit and the less I notice that they're there, the better. Not only that, but the stems on these keep them really secure. So no complaints about the comfort on these. Soundcore knocked this aspect out of the park. They even fulfill my requirement of not being so isolating as to completely block out the sounds of people talking to me. So hey, that's good. You also get 9 pairs of ear tips included to try out. Sound quality. It's met 2 of my requirements: good fit and an app that I actually like. If we can get 3 out of 4 requirements, I could consider daily driving these. So, how is the sound quality of the Anker Soundcore Liberty Earbud 2 Pro? Are they on the same level tuning-wise as its more mainstream counterparts? Yesn't? So if I had to describe the frequency response of the Liberty Air 2 Pro in one word, that word would be bad. It has this exaggerated V-shape that's pretty common with audio products marketed for average consumers rather than for audiophiles. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. If executed correctly, V-shaped tunings can sound very good. People like extra bass, and extra treble adds a bit more sparkle to cymbals and airiness to vocalists. This is a sound profile that, when done right, I personally find very enjoyable, but it wasn't executed well in this case. The bass is just way too overdone, and it's not good bass either. Around the 200 to 300 hertz region, that's where you want to be especially careful, because a bit extra here can add warmth and punch to a sound signature, but this is also where muddiness and bass bloat occurs if it's too much. And yeah, it's way too much, at least for my taste. One test of an earbud or IEM or headphone is how it handles the bass, and most audiophiles would tell you that they prefer the quality of bass over the quantity. Unfortunately, these earbuds do the opposite of that. I like when the bass is tight and impactful. Like, when the bass hits, I want it to feel like this. But with the Liberty Air 2 Pro, it feels like someone is blowing lots of air into my ear very slowly, or like I was just gently slapped in the face with a really big, slightly moist paper towel. Like, bass drum hits just sound so pillowy. I've heard some IEMs that have a bass-heavy tuning and are a bit bloated, but I didn't mind it so much because the bass was still really impactful and tight. My FIO FD3s are an example of this. They're V-shaped much like how the Liberty Air 2 Pro are, but the tuning is executed much better, and the quality of the bass is a lot more impactful and tight, and it gives me a much better sensation of slam. One of my favorite songs that I like to use to test headphones, and also just one of my favorite songs in general, is Takeover by Catatonia. It's this really well-written prog metal song that covers such a wide range of frequencies, and it just goes hard as fuck. The distorted guitar and bass guitar sound really warm and heavy on the power chords of this song, and those bass drum hits, well, they hit just right. And when the mid-bass is well executed, it sounds even better. Bass hits on these earbuds just sound like mush. I haven't ever heard this song sound bad. Until now. If this song sounds bad, it means the tuning of the device I'm listening through is probably jank as fuck. So what's the rest of the frequency response like? The bass bloat does unfortunately cause many instruments to sound covered up a bit. It's not as bad as I've heard on some other devices, but still, the mid-range overall is pretty thin sounding. Vocals definitely take the biggest hit. I can hear a noticeable dip in the vocal range from approximately 1K to 4K hertz, where voices just sound veiled. It's really just not very good. Doesn't matter if they're male or female, they sound veiled all the same. And then you get into the treble region and you have the same problem as the bass. It's just a bit too much. I will say, it's more muddy than it is bright. But that being said, the treble is still bright and peaky. I'm pretty tolerant to treble, so while I personally didn't find it piercing, there's no doubt going to be people who do. Overall, the tuning of these earbuds before EQ is just not very good. Can EQ save it? Not really. You can EQ the mids and the treble, and they can get much better. But I ran into issues using the app to rein in the bass. Even with the lowest 3 bands all the way down, I couldn't get rid of the bass bloat entirely. I got it better, but not to the point where I didn't think it was problematic. And even when it's turned down, the quality of the bass still doesn't improve. How did these perform on the subjective aspects of the sound? Stuff like timbre. Timbre, I hardly know her. Sorry. Its timbre is pretty artificial sounding, and due to its exaggerated treble response, has a bit of a metallic edge to it. Overall, it performs worse in the subjective aspects of sound compared to its more mainstream counterparts. It's just not very detailed, nor is it resolving, and imaging is subpar. The one area I thought was pretty good was instrument separation. Lots of wireless earbuds struggle with instrument separation, but on the Liberty Air 2 Pro, it felt like there were groups of instruments that were separated from one another, rather than lots of individual instruments being separated, but recordings didn't entirely sound like everything was smashed together. So that was kind of a pleasant surprise. Sadly, this one aspect doesn't make up for the lackluster performance for the rest of the sound. It's kind of shit, I'm not gonna lie. Do I recommend it? Not really. You know, I think these make for pretty good lifestyle earbuds if all you're looking for are decent features at a cheaper price. If all you're looking for is a product that's convenient, these are fine, but if you're at least a little bit picky about your sound quality at all, I do not recommend them. In fact, if you aren't specifically looking for this style of earbud, it is worth noting that you can get a much better sounding pair of earbuds for around the same price, the Samsung Galaxy Buds 2s. These are $150 at MSRP, but you can find them cheaper on Amazon for under $100 depending on sales, and they go on sale fairly regularly. I tried to go into this review with an open mind, but I also have to be careful. Like I said, I tried to be open-minded, but Soundcore as a brand has been praised universally in the tech tuber space, and I'm fairly skeptical of a lot of large tech tubers. So the way many of them seems to be shilling them with the same enthusiasm you'd see in a Raycon sponsorship just put me on edge. I kinda wanted them to fail. So I fully acknowledge that I'm just one guy, and I am, and this is true, biased, which is why I did go out of my way to point out the features that I do like. As an overall package, these earbuds are decent. I don't like how they sound, but they do have good features. Plus, these are a few years old now, and newer models could sound better. I don't know that though, as I haven't tried them. So, conclusion, the Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pro has quality of life features that I think are legitimately good, but the sound quality is pretty mediocre by audiophile standards. Everyday consumers probably don't care about having audiophile levels of sound, but I'm an audiophile channel, so those average everyday consumers can go get fucked, I guess. So yeah, anyway, because I didn't like these, I'm sorry Linus, but I'm 50 miles from your location and closing in, so you'd better start running, fucko, in Minecraft. Now what about the Apple EarPods? Are these any better than the Liberty Air 2 Pro? Yeah, they are, except like I actually mean it this time. These sound way better. Okay, goodbye, that's the end of the video.